If you want to learn how to make your beats hit harder, then this video is for you. I'm gonna show you some tips with saturation as well as sidechain compression. Let's get into it. Before talking about saturation, let me just tell you about the basis of loudness and mastering. So as you can see, this is my stereo out, and it always stays somewhere in the green area. Now if you want your beats to sound more punchy, it's very tempting to just boost the volume of everything like this. But now the big problem you have as soon as it goes above 0 dB is that you're going to digitally saturate your sound, and that's usually not what you want, because when you bounce it, for one thing, it's going to drop your volume, and also digital distortion doesn't really sound pleasant. It's not a natural saturation that we want. And as the last plugin of your stereo output, you want to put a limiter just to bring the volume up and to be sure that you not go above 0 dB. So that's one thing, and as you can see, we don't go above -0.5 dB. And we're moving on to tip number 1, which is the saturation. In many genres like drill, trap, any sort of hip-hop or pop or rock music, the kick is the loudest element of your mix. And as we just saw, we cannot just boost the volume, otherwise we'll start clipping if we go above 0 dB. So one thing we can do to avoid that is to introduce saturation, which basically is going to introduce some upper harmonics. This means that it adds some high frequencies so we can hear the kick better, and it gives this impression of loudness. So to add saturation, you can just go here on your sampler and turn the drive knob up. As we can hear, it sounds louder, but if we push it too far, then the kick doesn't sound the same anymore. That's one option. Just remember to not push the drive too far. We can also use Logic Pro's stock plugin, for instance the overdrive. Now, if you want to make your life easier and find a solution that gives you better results, I would recommend to use a dedicated plugin, and the one I'm going to use is called Thickify. I'm going to show you what it can do in context. As we can see, there are different parameters, so I'm just going to play around a bit with it and you can hear the difference. As we can hear, it makes a big difference. Let's just A/B it. So the kick is way more punchy and you can really hear it. Now let's properly hear what it does, and for that I'm going to set the exact same output level before and after. I think this plugin really shines with the stress knob, because for the same output level it really makes it sound louder. In the description, I'm going to put the link to download this plugin. It's not free, but I think it can really be worth it. Now that you use saturation and Thickify to have a bigger kick and bigger drums in general, you can move on to use sidechain compression. Sidechain compression is quite straightforward on Logic Pro. You can just select all the tracks that you need. I would recommend to select all your instruments, such as piano, guitar, and all those sort of stuff. So I got my keys and piano. Then I click on X to open the mixer, and here I'm going to send it to a new bus. for example, bus 30, but really doesn't matter as long as it's free. And here we have the new bus, and I can put a compressor on it. The first thing I want to do is to put my kick on the sidechain here on the top right. Instrument, kick. Then I want to turn off the auto gain. I set the attack on minimum and the release between 100 and 200 milliseconds. And then I can adjust the threshold. As we can see, if I put it all the way down, it really drops the volume a lot. Let's add Thickify on top of it. Another cool thing is that I can turn down the kick and I can boost my limiter. And now we have a really bigger sound and it really sounds louder. It really adds a lot of punch to a beat. That's the end of this video. Don't hesitate to tell me if you liked it, so maybe I can do other mixing tutorials. That was my very first one, by the way. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, and I see you next week for the next video. Bye bye.
I'll show you holy, teach you things that they taught me. Spreading knowledge, I teach her.